Then also with the second regime of county government, I came across an advert for the chief officers and the CECMs, which I also applied. I was shortlisted in the position of chief officer. I came for the interview, and successfully I was appointed as a chief officer, administration and decentralized units. During my tenure serving in county government, I've served in several departments. I served in administration decentralized units for 1 year. Then I was given an appointment to work as a chief officer in the departments of transport and infrastructure. Later on transferred to the Department of Social Welfare, and finally to the Department of Education, where my contract ended just the other day. That is me. I'm married, a mother of 4 beautiful girls, married to 1 husband, and saved, and I've involved myself in so many community activities, especially church functions and activities. And that is me. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Ms. Scolastica Tuwei, for that brief introduction. I wish to remind you that you're still under oath, and as earlier submitted, this is a committee that is established pursuant to Standing Order number 187, and its main purpose is to assess your suitability to serve in the position for which you've been appointed for. So I'll invite the members of the committee to ask you questions, and I'll start with the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Wilson Sang.
Okay, thank you, Chair. And thank you for the nominee. This is the nominee for the education and the sports. I have 2 questions to the nominee. One is that Nandi is a source of champion. We have men and women who have raised the flag to this country, nationally and globally. But here at home, the county seems to have done little to recognize these heroes. What is your take on this? Then 2, the nominee, what is your take on the issue of doping by our athletes? What intervention should the county establish to safeguard the athletes, took measures to counter against the doping? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
You may proceed to respond to those 2 questions.
Thank you so much, Chair and honorable members of the committee. I beg to request that the first question is repeated. I didn't get it clearly.
The first question. The first question, and you are aware that the Nandi is a source of champion. And with the source of champion, we have men and women who have raised the flag to this to country or nationally and globally. But here at home, the county seems to have done little to recognize the heroes of this county. What is your take on this?
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you for the repeat of the same question. I want to say that Nandi County is a source of champions for real, and we've seen that they've really represented us globally and nationally. And what we need to do as county government of Nandi is to really recognize them and to make them feel valued, which county government has made some strides towards the same. A case scenario is the Eliud Kipchoge complex, which is a flagship project for His Excellency the Governor, Honorable Stephen Sang. It is named after the hero, and I believe that is one of the recognition. And Eliud Kipchoge complex has 2 facilities. One is training camp, where we will have very many upcoming athletes coming there to train so as to tap their talents and develop them. Then we also have a track or a field where athletes normally carry out their practices. Chair, I want to report that the other day when Cabinet Secretary Honorable Ababu Namwamba came to Nandi, I was there very early in the morning doing some other activities, and I saw about 300 athletes training in that particular track, a very conducive place and serene for athletes to train on. So I think that is one of the recognition that we've made. At the same time, the facility is very nice. We have a big hall where if only we embrace the artifacts that these athletes uses during practice and even during competition. Like we have a big hall where we can mount their pictures, a picture of Eliud Kipchoge, of Chelimo, of Janet Chepkosgei, and all our athletes. If we mount them there, we will be recognizing them. And even when we host visitors and they see what is happening there, they will embrace and they will realize that we value our athletes. That is what we call Hall of Fame. I also believe recently when we held the Koitalel Samoei Day celebration in Nandi Hills, it was one way of honoring our heroes because Koitalel did quite a lot for us as Nandis. So we just need to put more resources to ensure that the day is well celebrated, invite many other elders who can come and learn from what we are doing as Nandi County. Also, my responsibility as a CCM is policy making. I think the first thing to do, if you give me an opportunity to work as a CCM education, sports, youth affairs, culture and heritage, is to table a policy paper at the cabinet with a program on reward scheme or system on how we can reward these particular heroes. Like during Mashujaa Day, we can celebrate them. We can give them rewards. We can give them some token of appreciation. We've never done this before. And I think if we work together with the county education, youth, sports, culture, and heritage committee from this honorable house, we are going to address so many issues that has never been addressed.
Maybe Chair, to you, I've heard the nominee talking about at least, but I'm talking about the heroes now. That have been, we have the heroes that have been from this source and they have not been in this place. How are you going to recognize them so that we have those investments remaining in our county?
Pardon, Chair?
I want us to limit ourselves to these heroes. About the question is, how are you going to recognize the heroes? We have in Nandi the source of champion, we have in Eldoret, we have the cities, and we have also the homes of champions. So I'm asking the source of champions, how are we going to have these heroes being recognized in our own county, apart from losing them and investment to other parts of outside our county?
Thank you very much, Chair.
It means that when they are moving from this one, we are not organizing them. That's why they are going for a better place. How are you going to have them at our own county so that we build this county of ours?
Thank you very much, Chair. I want to add that, in addition to what I've said, we are going to work closely with the federations, like the Athletics Kenya. We bring them closer home, then we work with them. And I think also when I talk about the Hall of Fame and the rest, it's part of the recognition. If I talk about the Koitalel Samoei, those are heroes. Like Eliud Kipchoge is a hero. Having won the Ineos, he is actually a hero. Janet Chepkosgei is a hero in our own making. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable nominee, probably you've not addressed yourself. The second question as asked
Thank you very much. Thank you, sorry, Chair. Thank you very much, Chair. We have the issue of doping. I remember recently Nandi County have been making headlines on the doping menace. And doping is becoming rampant, not only even in Nandi, in Kenya, and even globally. So you realize that what we need to do as a county government is, one, is to entrench, or rather to work with primary and secondary schools in Nandi at that tender age to inculcate values and morality to the young and upcoming athletes so that as they grow up and expose their talents and as we nurture their talents, they will get to realize and know that doping is bad. Number two, recently when the cabinet secretary came to Nandi County, he talked of an act that is at the national government. And what he said is that there is a gap on some issues, like the penalties given to an athlete who is practicing doping. And he said we were going to criminalize it in the act so that if you found that you are doping, you are going to get harsh penalties. It is a criminal case. And you'll find that if that is happening, most of the athletes will not practice that. So I think what we normally do, the sports department has a policy in place, and the same policy will help us to enforce the issues of doping menace. Number two, what we need to do also is the people selling doping substance to athletes are our own people at the county government. The people who have medical background, the people who have some health workers, some pharmacists. So the best thing to do is to prohibit them from doing the same. Because many a times our athletes falls victim of circumstances. They think they are being assisted maybe if they are feeling unwell, and later on realize that they've actually consumed these substances, which later on affects their life. Number three is that we need to move as county government and work with Federation of Sports like Athletics Kenya through sensitization programs, through invitation of professionals to come and talk to these particular athletes on the repercussions of using the anti-doping substances. And also, we need to be very categorically serious with our camps. We have various training camps in Nandi County, and what we need to do is to carry out database. We need to find out who are these people in our camps, who are the coaches in our camps. Are they qualified enough? Are they quacks? Are they bringing bad cultures to our athletes? Do they know what they are doing? So what we need to do is to create that synergy, knowing who are in our camps, knowing who are our coaches, knowing who are our athletes. Remember, even in Kapsabet, when you talk about Kapsabet, it is not majorly our people who are practicing this doping. Kapsabet is open to various athletes coming to train in Kapsabet. And you realize that we need to really move closer and work with the camp, and possibly even organize for some trainings and capacity building for the coaches, and even for the managers and for the athletes. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nominee. We can now have Honorable Teno, and as earlier guided, we need precise and concise answers because we don't have the luxury of time. Honorable Teno.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. And thank you for the Honorable Nominee for the education. And right away, I will ask you one or two questions. Number one is the NASEF Act and regulations makes provision for awarding bursary to students with special needs or whose parents and guardians are living with disability. Can you please inform this committee how many students, who are disabled or their parents are disabled, have benefited from 2017 to 2022? And number two, there is a Nandi County Education Fund Act for 2014 and regulations to the Act. Despite the existence of these legal instruments, which has laid a firm foundation on management of the funds, as well as the disbursement of the bursaries, there are still a lot of numerous challenges and on disbursement of bursaries. If you are appointed as CECM for education, how will you address the issue of bursaries and scholarship? And lastly, does the Department of Sports support ward or county tournaments, let's say tournaments like for football or volleyball? And lastly, if your nomination is approved, what is your plan to expedite in the completion of the Kipchoge Keino Stadium, which are stalled for many years? Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Yes, you can take those questions for now.
Thank you very much, Chair and honorable members. The NASEF Act 2016 clearly stipulates categories of how we disperse the bursaries, and we have 4 categories. We have the university, we have the polytechnics, we have the secondary, and we have the special category where the vulnerable groups are, like the vulnerable children, or rather, those children with disability. And how we've staggered it is that for university, we are giving 30% of the total amount of money that we are getting. For secondary, we are giving 30%, polytechnic 30%, and then for the special category, we are giving 10%. Since 2017, 2022.
Honorable Chair, can the nominee confirm that all the students receive their bursary within the right time? Can you confirm to this committee?
Thank you very much, Chair. No, I can say not on the right time, because on disbursement, how we normally get disbursement from the Treasury. But what I was explaining is that the special category, we normally give them 10%. I want to report to this honorable committee through the chair that we are in the process of amending our act so as to cater for more allocations for the special category. Previously, we've been doing 30, 30, 30, and then 10. What we normally get is 60 million. That is, if county government is getting 60 billion, we are given 1% of the total amount of money that we are getting. But the act is, but there is an amendment in the act that we at least get 2% of the total money that we are getting. For example, if we receive 6 billion, 2% of 6 billion will be 120 million. That will address the issue of the vulnerable groups, which have been getting the smallest percentage. And I want to report to this honorable committee through the chair that so far from 2017-2020, we have dispersed around 27 million, around 265 million to around, I think, approximately 27,000 beneficiaries. 27,000 beneficiaries. If you can do possibly, if you can calculate from what the special category might have got, they might have been 3,000 of what we have. So it is actually 27 to 30,000 beneficiaries. So if you take 3% of that, is approximately 3,000 beneficiaries for the special category. And then on the challenges on disbursement of bursary, if the committee will approve me for this particular docket, what I will do is, first and foremost, the biggest challenge have been allocation of resources. You find that our budget ceiling does not allow us to stretch and do more allocation. So what we are going to do is to request through the finance during budget making process for more allocation of fund to address it. Number 2 is that the method that we are using is actually equality, not equity. Like, we normally get 60 million and we distribute amongst the 60 wards, the 30 wards, meaning every ward goes with 2 million. If you look at some expansive wards like Kilibwani and in Tinderet, it is called Songo Soba ward, it is so expansive. So if we use the equality method, it means some of the secondary students will even get 5,000, while other wards will get 20,000 per students. So I think issue of equity, I have to address very fast. And then also, number 3 is, you realize that recently His Excellency Honorable Stephen Sang, our governor, formed a task force to review some of the issues in multinational tea sector. And because he values education, I'm very sure that if we do some collaboration and partnership with these particular multinational sectors, they'll be able to support us with scholarship, because actually of the scarce resources that we all know that we are getting. Then also, you realize that as a committee member, we need to do what we call networking. We have very many of our people who are in abroad, studying and even working. What we need to do, we have some of them, sometimes they've been calling and they want us to support, they want to support our students, our needy students. So we just need to strengthen these linkages and work with them. Also, you realize that bursary is not enough. And we have what we call revolving fund, which was in the Act. And this revolving fund, we could not actually implement because of the scarce resources. Number two, we didn't have recovery mechanism. If we gave students this money as a revolving fund, it was very hard for us to recover the money. Very many other counties that we went benchmarking, like Uasin-Gishu, like Bomet, they've had some bad experiences when students are unable to bring back the money. So what we did through the able leadership of Waziri Education then, Honorable Grace Ugut, we went all the way to the HELP, that is Higher Education Loans Board, to strike an MOU to work with them so that they'll help us to manage the revolving fund. During that time also, we visited the Equity Group CEO. We had a sitting and we had a discussion on how to do mentorship programs, because many times we give students these bursaries, but then we don't do a follow-up to ensure that did we really use the resources prudently? Did students complete learning? Are they in school? What are they doing after studies? So we are going to engage them so that during holidays they come and do the mentorship programs for us. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable nominee, I'll wish you to address yourself to the question raised as regard the completion of Kipchoge Keino Stadium and also the issues of tournaments within Nandi.
Thank you so much, Chair and honorable members. When we talk about football in Nandi, we are well known for athletics. But when I worked in the Department of Administration and Decentralized Units, I had staff who were doing football. They even participated up to Kikoska. And I remember paying them their allowances from the department. They had actually excelled. And what I know the department has been doing, they've been sponsoring this particular community footballers through giving them uniforms and through buying them some equipments, some play equipments. So it is only until lately when I think from 2021, when the Federation when the Federation of Football was banned, that is the time they stopped doing it, but the department has actually been doing it. So when I come in as a new CCM, if only you give me the chance, I'll make sure that we do resource allocation for the same, so that we tap those talents, so that we nurture the talents, not only in athletics, but also in football and other indoor and outdoor activities. Lastly is completion of Kipchoge Stadium. Luckily enough, I want to make a point of reference still to recently visit of Honorable Ababu Namwamba, the Cabinet Secretary, who actually landed in Kipchoge Stadium purposely to check on what was going on. County government, through the first regime and even the second regime, put some resources, and good amount of resources, but it is not yet complete. And there is a committee at the national government working on the same towards completion. I think if only given a chance to work in this particular department of sports, I will ensure that I travel all the way to national government to meet with the cabinet secretary just as a follow-up to ensure that the completion of the remaining phase is adhered to. And the remaining phases is only the tartan, that is the synthetic rubber, and maybe the parking that is not actually there. Like I told you that I learned at AC Tegat, where we used to do our play activities here. So parking is missing, which has to be cooperated. And also what was erected is the VIP stand. So we are missing the spectator stand. So a few of the things that are remaining will be addressed. And you remember, I even inquired from my colleague when I realized it was a big menace. That's been not educated, by the way. And my colleague told me that they were ready. They have the BQ, they have the designs, they have the drawings. It's just a matter of running with it and completing it. Just give me a chance and I will do it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Kirongo.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I have about 3 questions for the nominee. While you are serving as a Chief Officer for the Department of Administration and Public Service, that was in 2018, 2019, county employees participated in Kikoska games in Kericho and Kisii. Up to date, most of the employees who attended the event have not been reimbursed their allowances. What is your take on this issue, and what is the way forward on this matter?
Sorry, through the chair.
Yes.
The years
2018, 2019. My second question on the law on 30% opportunities that are reserved for women and people living with disability and access of county government programs. Now that you've been in this government for 5 years, has the county fulfilled this requirement? You can tell us what action will you take to undertake to ensure that youths, women, and people living with disabilities access to these opportunities. That is, if you are given this job. Then my last question is, please inform this committee on the number of ECDE classrooms and vocational training centers across the county that have been completed, not completed, or that are in progress, that have stalled, and those ones in which construction has not commenced but budgeted for. Thank you, Chair.
Well, you can take those questions for now.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you for the question. I had earlier on alluded to the fact that I'm aware of Kikoska because I paid some officials who had actually attended some sportish activities. I think I paid for one of them. By the time they were going for another one, I had already left for another department. I was in administration by then, and I remember paying huge amount of money. In fact, the officers who were working in administration and decentralized units, all the way to the devolved units at the sub-county level, were very many. And what I did, we paid out of the recurrent budget that we had in the department, but I remember most of them really went through a lot of problems. This is because at the initial stage, there was no budgetary allocation for the same. This little amount of money that was there at the recurrent budget was for other activities. When even I got a communication from my colleague chief officer requesting me to pay for these athletes, what I told him is that I don't have the same in my budget and I cannot pay out of nowhere. I think one key issue that has become a problem here is that the budget of the same. Kikoska has to be budgeted at the department level. All the 8 departments that we have in county government of Nandi have to factor in something during their budget making process. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for one department to pay all the workers, all the athletes. So what I will do, if given an opportunity, is to ensure that we budget enough allocation for the same sportish activity in the department. Number 2 is the issue of 30%, that is the ACBO, which is targeting the women, the youth, and the PWDs. In our procurement plans, it must be indicated clearly. If you check on all the procurement plans, we have the 30% that has been captured clearly. Some works has to go to them, like some small works, like the supplies, like renovations, those works that are not heavy has to be given to this particular category. If you go to the departments, you'll realize that, in fact, we have surpassed the 30% threshold, because many a times our youth are given this opportunity to carry out works in the department. A case scenario is the construction of ECD centers in the Department of Education where I worked. You realize that most ECD centers are being done by the youths, are being done by the women. I have very good women. As an acting chief officer in the Department of Roads and Transport and Infrastructure, we gave some galvats to some youth groups, which later on they never delivered. And I think they were even in Mosop. They never delivered. They had to give to somebody else to do for them, then just get some little percentage. So what we need to do is to address the issue of sensitization majorly. Then the last one is the ECD centers and the VTCs. Let me begin with ECD. With ECD centers, we have 3 categories of ECD centers constructed. We have the 2017-2018, which was previously labor-based, and which was actually labor-based, and we were constructing 60 ECD centers, 2 per ward. For 2017-18, I want to report to this house that 48 to 50 of them are complete. 9 at the walling level, at the roofing level, painting level, plastering level, and then 1 is at the substructure. That is PEMJA in Kemeloi Maraba Ward. It is because of the poor terrain, inaccessibility, that we were unable. In fact, the materials have been dropped there, but we are unable to move it up to where the school is. And then for 2018-2019, we did 45 ECD classrooms. And for the 45 ECD classrooms, at least this one moved very fast because we did procurement. We contracted them. We gave them to contractors. And 30 of them are complete. We have about, we have 30%, and then we have 10, which we retendered. They were non-responsive. So we've retendered several, about 3 times. We've retendered, it's not picking. We retendered again, not picking. And this time round also, we've retendered them. And then we have 5 of them at walling, finishing, and the rest. Then for the last one is 2019-2020, where we scaled down a bit because we wanted to do completion of the others. We constructed 15 of them. I want to report that 5 of them is complete, 5 retendered, and 5 ongoing. Then for the vocational training centers, we had 9 of them, but those were single units, 1 classroom each, which were completed, and in fact the contractors were paid. Then we had a Sigilai Vocational Training Center, which was costing 5 million, which became also non-responsive, but we've retendered. Before I went on leave, we had actually done the procurement. Then we also have Cheptarit administration block, which was also what 5 million and 1 million for ablution block, which was also retendered. And then what we did also for the vocational training centers, we had so much geared towards ECT. But what we decided this financial year is to do most of the completion. Like if you go to Kipsebwa in Nandils, Kipsebwa in Kaptumo, VTC, we've completed a project which stalled for a very long period of time. If you go to Potopoto, we've completed Potopoto Twin Workshop, which had actually stayed for a very long period of time. Then also when you go to we've also allocated some money to most of the VTCs so as we operationalize them. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Nominee. I've just heard you talk of non-responsiveness and retendering. What probably could have informed that?
Thank you very much, Chair and honorable members. I have had a long discussion with the head of supply chain management because it was so bad that we tendered projects and they were non-responsive. The reason is majorly because of the standardized BQ for ECD centers. A BQ for an ECD center in Tinderet is the same as a BQ for an ECD center in Kapsabet, which was actually not correct. So what we've done, we've corrected the mess by doing the BQ as per the need of the area. We take into consideration the geographical condition, the transport system network, which has really hindered majorly the contractors taking up these opportunities. Number two is the issue of late disbursement of funds. Many a times when contractors are not paid, they shun away from carrying out works, and not only in Nandi, it is all over. Thank you, Chair.
Well, we can now hear from Honorable Martin Douglas. And as earlier guided, we are expecting very precise, concise questions, so to the answers.
Thank you, Chair. Madam Nominee, good morning. There is an issue to do with the gender-based violence among the athletes. What is your take, and what measures do you think should be put in place by the county government to avert this menace? That is the first question. The second question is about the slogan and the motto of Nandi County as the source of champions. The slogan of this county is the source of champions. You go to Eldoret, that is Uasin Gishu, it is the city of champions. You go to Iten, that is Elgeyo Marakwet County, the home of champions. What is your take in terms of how do you feel about it? Because we produce this, the champions. They invest in Eldoret, not in Kapsabet. And apparently they stay in Elgeyo Marakwet. What is your take? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair and honorable members of this honorable committee. When you talk about the gender-based violence, we realize that it has really affected our athletes lately. I come from Lilmoko-Ngejek ward, where we lost a very promising young athlete, that is Tirop. May her soul continue resting in peace, due to gender-based violence. I think most of this gender-based violence, for real, they don't just happen like that. There is a root cause. And if given an opportunity to serve in this particular department, we'll embark on digging the root cause of why this gender-based violence is becoming rampant. Most of these athletes, they don't train from their homes. They train in training camps where molestation, where rape cases, where sexual abuse, where toxic relationship takes place. So what we need to do as county government is to move in and work with Athletics Kenya Federation so as to address the issue through sensitization programs of how to identify red flags. Many of us enters into relationship, love affairs, and you've realized many of the times, many athletes have been killed because of relationship. Meaning, we need to really empower them. We need to tell them on how to make the right choices. So what normally causes this is we have a young girl who has gone to train in a camp, very promising, meets with a coach or meets with another athlete, then they cohabit together, maybe due to misunderstanding, they are killed. You realize that what we need to do is to pick their voices, pick the voices of the athletes, have a forum with them, sit with them, let them talk to us, let them share their experiences. And you find that it is very obvious that even in the training camps, the people who are managers, the people who are coaches and trainers are purely male factor, the alpha male, which has really impacted negatively on these particular ladies. Many a times even they are forced into relationship. I have very many friends who are athletes, and many a times we share tete-a-tete with them, especially after Tirop was slain. We had to talk to a number of them at home after the burial, and they were really telling us what they are going through. So if given an opportunity by this honorable committee members, I will ensure that we work closely with the athletes and the federations to make sure that we address the issues. We bring in professionals to talk to them. We bring in their families to encourage them. And also as county government, what we need to do is to support these athletes. They are very young, upcoming athletes who just go into a camp. They don't have finances. They enter into bad relationship because they need somebody to help them. So it is good as county government and as a Department of Sports, what we need to do is to allocate some resources to help these upcoming athletes to address the GBV menace that they are subjected to. Thank you, Chair. And then, second question is on slogan of Source of Champions. For sure, we are the source of champions. But then I want to say, we've been all wondering why Uasin Gishu is the city of champions, why our athletes move from Nandi to go and develop in Uasin Gishu, and why many of them call Elgeyo Marakwet the home of champions. I don't know, it's because of the conducive training environment or what, I can't tell. But if I talk about Nandi, you realize that if we look around and find out which athlete has developed in Nandi, we have the likes of Hussein, who even has a training camp, but we have many of them running away from Nandi. I think what is happening in Nandi is that if given an opportunity to work in the Department of Sports, I will work with the entire departments in Nandi County, like the Department of Lands, like the municipality, that is the Department of Administration, to ensure that the spatial planning of the town, planning the town. We have the IDEP because I worked in administration and decentralized units. We had developed the integrated development plan. We are missing the development plan, or rather the spatial plan. If we have this spatial plan in place, it will inform the infrastructure, it inform the industrial sites where we are going to set up the industries, where we are going to set up the housing, which is in one of the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza, affordable housing. And also, you realize that it will help us to plan well the town, the drainage system, the connectivity and the rest, which we are actually missing in Kapsabet. Why our athletes are running away is because no one has actually developed Kapsabet. And people are proud and happy to associate with development. I think basically that is why they are running away to Uasin Gishu County. But given an opportunity, we'll sit with the investors. We even collaborate with private partnership to come and invest in Nandi. We even work in collaboration with the Department of Tourism, where it is domiciled in trade, so as we promote the tourism, the sports tourism, which will bring more athletes investing in Nandi County. Thank you very much. You are Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nominee. We can hear from Honorable Birech.
Okay, good morning, Madam Scolastica.
Good morning, Chair.
Yes. Talai community claim that some and not all artifacts belonging to Kodel Samoei were returned from the Great Britain. What's your take on this issue? 2, what's your vision with the regard of preservation of cultural heritage and empowering of cultural elders? 3, Nandi is cosmopolitan county. Some communities are claiming that they are marginalized. Which community or group is marginalized here? Initially, the department opted for labor-based contracting method in construction of ECDs. Why did the department discard labor-based contract and refer to procurement method? And finally, the departmental budget contains force on recurrent expenditure. Having in mind that the department has staff distributed across the county, how will you ensure that there is equity in this distribution of opportunities for all the departmental staff in order to realize optimum service delivery by the staff? Thank you.
Yeah, Honorable Nominee, you can take those questions. We expect very concise answers.
Thank you very much, Chair. In relation to the artifacts of Koitalel Samoei, I happen to have worked in the Department of Tourism, Culture and Social Welfare with my colleagues, former Chief Officer Beatrice Chemurgor, and we really worked together very well. Many a times we planned with her celebration of Koitalel Samoei. We sat with the elders and we heard more about these artifacts in Great Britain. What is happening is that there is a request that has been made by the elders that the artifacts are to be brought back to Kenya, specifically Nandi. And there is a committee already that has been formed at the national government, the tourism sector. And I want to tell this Honorable House that if given a chance to work in this particular department, I will fast track the process by going to the national government and requesting them through formal written communication to allow us to be part and parcel of that committee. If the committee is in place without our people, without the family, without the county government, without the elders, without the scholars that belong to Kalenjin community, will not be doing any justice. So the first thing I will do is to sit with them and request them that they include us so that we become part and parcel of the decision making. Number 2 is on the issue of labor-based contract that took place in education. That is in financial year 2017-2018. And I want to report to this honorable committee that when this method was embraced, it was for the good of our vocational training centers. In vocational training centers, we are training trade areas. We are empowering the youth with skills. And the department saw it prudent that it give the youth at the vocational training centers an opportunity for practicals. It has been theory all along. So they thought, if we bring on board these youth to construct for us the ECD centers, they'll be doing practicals. And I remember a time when we were opening Masaba ECD centers, the community around there said that we have very good mason who came from Cheptarit. They were constructing some ECD centers 2017-18, and they were proud of that labor-based method that we had actually embraced. The only thing that happened is that the unforeseen circumstances, is that the implementation part of it, is that very many things happened. There was, I don't know, I can call it laxity, or maybe there were some hurdles in implementation. Previously, they thought they would give suppliers contract to supply the materials and supply to the site. But what most of the suppliers did, they supplied to some vocational training centers, making the department again to move to those sites and transfer the same materials to the various schools that had been actually identified. You find that because of non-payment also, some of the suppliers withdrew and they could not supply material, Many a times they would supply cement, and then supply who was supposed to be supplying sand took time to supply sand, until even the cement went bad. And you remember that is not prudent use of resources. So at first, it was actually a good method, if only it was embraced wholly by everybody. You find that training should have been adequately done so as to promote implementation of the same. So what happened is that they lacked fuel, they lacked transport, they lacked closer supervision and management, they lacked evaluation, which brought down the method. Then the department decided then to go the procurement way. And if you can see the projects 2018, 2019, which were tendered out, they were even completed faster by the contractors. They were not slow like the 2017, 2018. Thank you, Chair. And then when we talk about the recurrent budget, we have two types of budgets. We have the recurrent budget and we have the development budget. So what happens with the recurrent budget is that basically it has some bills to be settled, like electricity, like water, like board allowance, like training. And majorly what should happen with the recurrent budget is that we should give more allocation to training aspects so that the staff are more empowered for effective and efficient service delivery. Many a times, we've had staff requesting to go for trainings, and many a times, we've been using the same vote to train the staff at the lower level. I want to report to this House that during my tenure as a chief officer in charge of education, we used the recurrent budget to train ECD teachers, even during the COVID period and COVID preparedness. It is the same recurrent budget which helped us to address the issue of the COVID pandemic. We used the same recurrent budget to go for benchmark, for bursary fund, for best practices on how to engage ECD teachers. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable nominee, it appears that you failed to address yourself to the question raised by Honorable Birech as regard that Nandi is a cosmopolitan county. Some communities are claiming that they are marginalized. Which communities are these, and why are they saying so?
Thank you very much, Chair. I remember when I was working in the Department of Tourism, Culture and Social Welfare, I ran a program which was done by a coordinator from the national government, by one Amos Olempaka, who was the director for the marginalized group, who came all the way to Nandi. We went to Terik and we did some cultural festival for the Terik people. When we were at the discussion table, we talked with Olempaka and we were discussing on how to engage these marginalized groups. The marginalized groups in Nandi, I don't want to call them marginalized, but I want to call them the minority groups. We have the Terik, we have the Talai, we have the Terik, we have the Talai, we have the Luyas, and then we have the Ogiek. The four of them are the minority groups. And many a times they feel marginalized. And if there is any marginalized group here, it's the Talai community, because their land was taken away. Also, we have the Ogiek, who lives in the forest, hunters and gatherers, but they don't have a place to call home. Those are marginalized. We have the Luyas, they are minority, but they are not marginalized. And also we have the Terik. What I want to say is that county government of Nandi is sensitive to these particular groups. I remember His Excellency the Governor appointed a chief officer by one Sang, who came from Ogiek, that is Lesos, as a chief officer. We also have a chief officer who was appointed by the county government as a chief officer, that is Ligaga, as a chief officer for youths and arts. We also have the Talai community, where Honorable Stephen Sang appointed chief officer, that is Tanui, from the Talai community. If I talk about Eric, and I think our government is responsive. Our government minds about the welfare of these people. And if given a chance as a department, what I will do is to bring together all these elders so that we no longer just talk about the Talai community. We talk about the Terik, we talk about the Ogiek, we talk about the Luyas, so that they come together. And you remember when you bring these elders together, the issue of cattle rustling, the issue of ill fighting, like what is happening down there at Chamase, will be eradicated completely. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nominee. Like I said earlier, we don't have the luxury of time, but before Honorable Sarah asks your question, we have a concern that initially while serving at the county government of Nandi as the chief officer, you were on several occasions moved from one department to another. Could you please inform this committee why? And secondly, county youth services is not well utilized. What is your plan to ensure that the team becomes productive?
Thank you very much, Chair and honorable members of the committee. Sincerely, I am what I am today because of what the appointing authority, His Excellency the Governor, did. I have been moved from administration to act as a chief officer transport, then to tourism, culture and social welfare, and my last working station was education and vocational training. I want to report to this honorable house that change is as good as a rest. I know the county government of Nandi just like the back of my hand today, because in all the departments I've served, I've worked diligently, and I've done what we call service delivery. I'm a team player, and if you go for fact-finding today, I've worked very well with them. I've never had any issue, and in fact, many a times that I was transferred, people would see that, why are you being moved from one department to another? But I always believe that challenges are there to make us stronger and not to break us. Thank you, Chair. The second question is county youth service, which is not well utilized. I want to say that county youth service has really assisted us in a number of ways. We have an act on the same. And I've always been in charge of events management in county government, and I've seen this particular youth perform duties and responsibilities assigned to them. About 700 of them have been employed and devolved to their locational level where they're coming from. They work in rotational level. 10 days, they rest. 10 days, they rest. This is due to the financial constraint that the department is actually experiencing. So one of the things that I will do, if given an opportunity to serve in this particular department, is to make sure that we give budgetary allocation to this particular youth fund. Because the Nandi County Youth Fund addresses the issue of unemployment in Nandi County. These particular youths are able to earn per day 450. They have their supervisors who earns 550. They are able to pocket something. They are able to raise their families. They are able to help the needy families they are coming from. So what I will do is, first and foremost, to request for more allocation. Number two is to equip them fully. During the commissioning or the launch of the same youth service, they were bought equipments and materials, which I'm very sure by now we need to allocate more resources to replace the worn out parts of those particular machinery they were given. Number three also, I want to ensure that we allocate bursary to this particular category of youths, because we want to empower them. We want to take them back to school, back to our vocational training centers, to be empowered with skills, to be empowered with knowledge, because many of them were taken, many are unskilled, many are skilled. So for those who are unskilled, we would want to take them back to school to educate them, the masons, the electricians, the carpenters, who in turn will help me in education department to even construct some furniture for the ECD centers, to even do some work, some repair works, some renovations in our vocational training centers and even our ECD centers. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nominee. We're rushing against time. We only have 20 minutes between us. Honorable Sarah.
Thank you, Chair. Madam Scholastica. Yeah, does the county government sponsor students who go overseas for studies? And if yes, what is the criteria of award of such sponsorship, and how many students have benefited from the program? Question 2, on the issue of sponsorship to Finland, is there a memorandum of understanding between the county government of Nandi and the government of Finland on this program? And lastly, what is the minimum wage for employee in Kenya? And how much does ECD teacher earn in Nandi County under these categories: certificate, diploma, and degree?
Thank you very much, Chair. When we talk about the scholarships and sponsoring of students by county government, I want to report to this honorable committee through the chair that recently His Excellency the Governor, Honorable Stephen Sang, signed an MOU with a team from Finland, that is the Lab University and the Lut University, Lab of Applied Sciences and Lut University, where their president came, and plus recruitment officer from Lut University. They signed this MOU with an aim of promoting our youths and even the citizens of Kenya in taking up job opportunities and going for further studies on engineering courses offered by these renowned universities in Finland. It's about, I think it is not even 2 months, barely 2 months ago. When we talk about sponsoring students, I want to report that we don't sponsor students as county government. What we do is that we create avenues for them. We just facilitate the process. We just facilitate the process, just like what other counties are doing. If you go to Elgeyo Marakwet today, they are just facilitating the process to make sure that the visa can be got easily, to make sure that all those other logistics are being just facilitated by the county government, not using the money, but just facilitation. If you go to Uasin-Gishu, they were the first to begin the same program, but they are not paying for them, they are just facilitating it becomes so easy when the county government chips in to make sure that this process is fast-tracked. Then for the criteria for the award is that what we did in education, we did an advert. We have 2 categories. We have the work study in Finland, where it is targeting 25 nurses and clinical officers who have graduated from a recognized institution from Kenya and have registered with Nursing Council of Kenya with diploma and bachelor's. So they go there for just some brief courses, about 1 year, and then they enter into job market. They work there, and they even become citizens there and continue working there. Then for the second criteria is for the study in Finland. Study in Finland targets engineering courses like the MOU that was signed by His Excellency the Governor. It also targets the nurses, where we are taking C- and above. For engineering courses, we are taking students with C+, then C+ in maths and C+ in English. So those are the 2 categories. We do an advert, it goes out there, we make it public, and then we've set up an office at the Disaster Management Office. We've deployed some staff who receive documentation, who verify, and then they guide students on how to apply. They are subjected to exam, and that is it. Thank you very much. For the second question, is the minimum wage of employee in Kenya? I think about 13,000, I'm not so sure, 13 to 15,000 is the minimum wage. But I remember 2022, I think it was revised by former president to 15,000. So it is 13 to 15. I'm not so sure, Chair. And then what we've been doing in Nandi County, for the certificates, we are paying them 13,500. For the diploma, we are paying them 15,000. And for the graduates, we are paying them 15,000. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Nominee. Yes, Honorable Teno.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Maybe my last two questions is concerning the scheme of service for the ECT teachers. What is the extent of the implementation that is for the scheme of ECT teachers? And number two, there is an ECT center in Tuwei that is called Chepsaita ECT that was rendered unworthy by the public health. You received the information from the assembly as a call for your action as the department chief officer. What action did you take to ensure that the issue of Chepsaita ECT was addressed? And I think we have a letter from the public health, which was actually sent to your desk. How did you address that issue? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. First and foremost, I'm a proud teacher, and I operated under a scheme of service to enable me deliver my services effectively and efficiently. And when I went to the Department of Education, by then there were no scheme of service, but fortunately and recently, the COG established a scheme of service which was actually approved by the SRC, and it was sent to county governments for implementation. The first step that His Excellency the Governor did was to form a task force comprising of 8 members, and I was lucky to be part and parcel of that great team, chaired by our County Secretary, Dr. Sang, including Honorable Grace Sugut, the CC for the department, and the technical person from the department, that is the director. We had an HR person from the public service. We also had a legal expertise from the legal department and the secretariat. What we did was to do a benchmark in Turkana, in Bomet, in Busia, on best practices, on how other counties have actually engaged the ECD teachers. We came up with a report based on the scheme of service that had been approved by the SRC, and we forward the same through the CS. It was tabled at the cabinet and forwarded to the Public Service Board, which I want to report to this committee through the chair that the first phase has been implemented. We implemented by giving additional of 2,000 and then 1,500, and we staggered for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, you'll realize that these particular ECD teachers will have been put in their job group. For example, a degree holder will be at job group K, a diploma holder will be at job group H, and a certificate will be at job group F. Degree earning 50,000, certificate earning 32,000, and diploma earning 32,000, and certificate earning 22,000. I also want to register to this house that Nandi County was the 3rd county to implement this particular scheme of service and to put teachers on permanent and pensionable terms. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Sarah.
On the issue of Chair, on the issue of Chepterwei, which school through the Chair?
It is Chepsaita Primary School.
Chepterwei, Chepsaita ECD, is that for sure I received, Chair, a report from the public health officer condemning the facility. I even have the photos with me in a very dilapidated condition. Unfortunately, we had a budget for 2020-2021 that we had captured under renovation of historical pending bills for the ECD. And we also had 6.5 for the historical pending bills for the vocational training centers. What we did mapping. We had to map out, we had to go to the sub.
Kindly just address yourself to that specific question.
So what we did, we identified the ECD centers to be renovated, and I want to report that Chepsaita is among the beneficiaries of the 8 million. It is captured and will be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Okay, Madam, I have a question here. Our ECD teachers have been receiving their wages through banks, but my question is on the payslip that they are receiving. If you look at one of the payslip, that is the diploma holder, okay, we have basic salary, 25,470, put in bracket. Then we have rental house allowance, 3,850, put in bracket. And then special salary, which is 16,500, giving a total earning is 16,500. So the question is on these which are put in bracket, basic salary, rental house allowance, that are not accounted for.
Thank you very much, Chair. You realize that payslips are IPPD generated. We don't generate from the county government. And what ECD teachers have been earning is what we call special salary, or rather consolidated salary. So when they will be put in job groups, what you are seeing in the bracket is what they will actually earn, and those brackets will not be there. So whatever they are earning now is just the consolidated salary or special salary. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Birech.
Madam Scholar, I don't know if you know of a vocational training college, VCT, so-called Mutumon. A lot of public resources had been spent in building and almost everything. As we speak, it has stalled, it's no longer functioning, a lot of bushes is there, and public resources had been spent. What is your take on this? Two, yesterday I saw you receiving a Minister for Sports, Honorable Ababu Namamba, yesterday, and you have not been feted. I don't know, could you tell us about it yesterday?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. When we talk about Mutumon VTC, we have about 5 VTCs which we are supposed to operationalize. And what is missing in Mutumon VTC is the toilet, or rather ablution block, which has been tendered out. I will follow it up if only you give me a chance to work in the department to ensure that we fast track the completion so as to operationalize it. Secondly, we are tendered out the supplies for the furniture for it to be operationalized, including Koibem, Chepkumia, and other vocational training centers. And then on the issue of receiving the Honorable Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Ababu Namwamba, I was still in service because I had not actually handed over. And being a sportsman's woman as I am, I was privileged and honored to be part of that great day. I was passing by to do the handing over when I stumbled into the opportunity. And I took advantage of it. Who doesn't anyway to be associated with a renowned person who's come to our county like that? Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nominee. I want to believe that you only stamped up because initially you had submitted to this committee that you've been in your leave and you've not been recalled back. And as you ponder about that, there is this Kenya Kwanza ideology on the bottom up. And if you are approved to the position of CCM member, how will you conceptualize the bottom-up approach in your department? And lastly, you are aware that as a CECM member, you can be removed from office. What are some of the circumstances that can lead to your removal from office as a CC member?
Thank you very much, Chair. I will kindly request that you repeat the question on Kenya Kwanza. I didn't get it.
Yes, the question on Kenya Kwanza is what is your understanding on the bottom-up approach as a Kenya Kwanza ideology? And if you are approved as to the position of CCM, how will you conceptualize the bottom-up approach in your department?
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. And honorable committee members, I will give a trial. I believe that the motto of the bottom-up approach in Kenya Kwanza was basically to promote investment of the ordinary Kenyans and to empower them financially. When they are empowered financially, they are able to generate taxes, and the same taxes that we pay in government will enable us to spur development. If appointed on this position, I will ensure that the youths that I will work with are empowered through devolution or through setting up of incubation centers at the sub-county level to encourage them to share ideas, to become innovators. And when the youths are empowered, they will get money. When they get money, they do some other development, and for sure it will spur growth in Nandi. Secondly, I will ensure that the ACPO, that is the 30%, goes to the women. If these women are empowered, the mama mbogas, they will be able to fend for their families, they will be able to educate their children. So in that spirit of Kenya Kwanza bottom-up, I'm ready to bring out the best in the women, the best in the PWDs, the best in the youths by exposing them to opportunities, by doing some sensitization programs. Thank you very much, Chair. And then for the removal of CCM from an office, I think the first thing is that if you give somebody a job, you must be competent in what you are doing. So if I don't do my work as pertaining the set rules and guidelines, automatically I will be removed because I'm unable to deliver anymore. Number two is the abuse of office, which is very critical in any public servant, in any state officer. I must appall. I must make sure that the abuse of office at all times is not an issue. Abuse of office is when I present my interest to be first before the interest of the people that I'm supposed to serve. Number three, if today I become mad, I become insane, I'm not able to reason logically, I will be removed from office because I will not be able to serve again diligently. If also I'm physically incapacitated, I'm unable to come to my office, I'm unable to sit in my office, I'm unable to discharge my duties, definitely I will not be able to hold any office. Then also we have issues like some gross misconducts, that you don't behave like a state officer, that you behave in a manner that suggests otherwise in an office, and the appointing authority realizes this, I'll be removed from the office. God forbid. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nominee. The committee wishes to give you, through the chair, 2 minutes to make your final submissions and say something to the committee.
Thank you very much, Chair, and the honorable committee members. I want to sincerely take this opportunity to thank all of you for listening to me, for the many, many questions. Thank you very much. And to my appointing authority, I want to sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, thank him so, so much. Last but not least, I pray that you will consider me for this particular noble cause, and I will not fail you. We will work hand in hand to make sure that we deliver services in Nandi effectively and efficiently. Thank you very much, and God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe on behalf of the committee and also the Secretariat, we want to appreciate you for your time and your indulgence during this approval hearing. So, Honorable Nominee, we are wishing you the very best. You now stand released to undertake your various duties. Honorable committee members, we're running out of time. We can only have a 5 minutes health break. 5 minutes health break, then we'll be back.